Hey TV fans, I am back for episode 2 of The Curse, the first season. It is called Pressure's Looking Good So Far. Full spoilers from the start of the review as always. So, the story in this episode is then Whitney is trying to ingratiate herself to local Native American community, so a very traditional Native American guy who she's trying to get on board, and she's partly doing this by reaching out to her local artists. One of the later scenes in the episode is them going to this installation of her work, and her and Ash are kind of trying to butter her up, trying to get her to work with them, and almost like she is this breakout artist who has had quite a bit of success, so they're trying to have a little bit of a cachet sort of thing by associating themselves around her. Also, there's a subplot with Ash where he talks to the reporter again, and she says she's running the negative story unless he can show her evidence then the parents haven't been screwing over people and haven't been encouraging gambling in their casino. So there's a whole thing with him where he tries to gain access to the footage in the casino, and he plays this trick on the guy working there because he causes a thing to distract him and ends up getting to the footage that way. And also Dougie goes on a date, and we just get a little bit more of an insight into his kind of antics and past, and that he has a whole drink driving thing, and it's almost typical Dougie when he's on the date with this woman, because he's constantly trying to manipulate things and trying to paint himself as a bit of a victim, saying that the whole drink driving charge was a misunderstanding, that kind of thing. So, and there's a little bit with him in the casino later where he's looking at his own interests. So I wasn't as into this one. I've got to say that, and I'm not quite sure why, but just the stuff that was making the first episode work just wasn't there so much in this episode. I did find the pacing lagging more in this one, and I think overall I just wasn't into the antics. You didn't have the dialogue, you had amusing moments of dialogue in the first episode that sort of gave a bit more life to the scenes. You didn't really have that in this episode, and yeah, there's just something about the plot this time where the antics of it wasn't as entertaining as the first one, and I wasn't as compelled by the characters in this one. There's definitely amusing moments, like the stuff in the gallery near the end when they're trying just too hard to be into this artist and show than they are into high culture. That stuff is quite amusing, and Emma Stone's very good at playing this very artificial character who's just trying too hard, and that scene does have a fun poke at artists who are trying to be a bit too highbrow and try a little bit too hard, because there's this whole thing of people going into her installation and she keeps doing this dramatic scream when they go in and face her, and then there's this whole thing where the guy who's in charge of the line, he's saying please don't tell anyone, please don't share your experiences in this installation, and it's almost this very sort of snooty sort of vibe to it. So that might have been the best scene of the episode. There's also a powerful scene that ends the episode where it does take a little bit of a darker turn, because Whitney and Ash have been trying for a baby, and she finally thinks she might have got pregnant because the test comes back and it's positive. So they get all excited over that, and then later on she goes for a test, and it turns out she's not pregnant after all, and like the term is it's not a viable baby, and there's been complications, so it's implied that there's something in her past which has like caused this, and she's very vague about it, and it's a really well done scene actually. I think that and the stuff at the installation are the best scenes in the episode because it's just really awkward, and it's almost what they don't say which makes it more powerful. But Ash takes it harder than her because the doctor is like, don't get down, you can try again in 6 weeks, this is very normal. And Ash like takes it worse than she does. She puts more of a brave face on it. But that scene and the shift into a darker tone was quite well done. But overall, yeah, I just didn't find this one as interesting. Like it did plod along a little bit for me, and it was just telling a little bit than the characters. These aren't like nice characters, but in the first one it did make me compelled to watch them, and it's almost like you had more bizarre like happenings and, like as I said, moments of fun, like clever bits of dialogue to lift the scenes a bit more. This one didn't have that so much for whatever reason, so I definitely felt the pacing more in this one. I definitely felt that, yeah, the characters just weren't, like, I just weren't as into them in this one, even though the ending was quite intriguing. And once again, Dougie, I'm finding a little bit to get into his character. I think, like, Benny Safdie does a pretty solid job of playing him, and once again, I can see what they're doing with that character, but, like, his character, it stands out a little bit than it is like one of the co-creators, and yeah, I'm not feeling his character so much, I've got to say. So yeah, bit of a lesser episode this week. That's episode 2 of The Curse. Overall, I definitely prefer episode 1, but I will be back next week for episode 2. Let me know your thoughts if you've seen this one in the comments below. Like and subscribe as always. Look out for more new TV reviews coming soon, and you can support me monetarily at patreon.com/boardnow. For just $1 a month, you get some early access to reviews. You also get commentaries on movies and TV shows, I should say, and you get some extra like debate or discussion type pieces. So lots to be found there. But thanks for watching. Keep watching TV. See you guys soon.